place for a conversation with our very special guest star. Broadway audiences have applauded his acclaimed performances in Amadeus, The Elephant Man, and The Nerd. His TV credits include Amazing Stories and Alfred Hitchcock Presents. But it was a character he created for 3 of the top 10 films of all time, which made him a hero to a movie-going generation and a star recognized around the world. The Disney MGM Studios is thrilled to have him here and give you the chance to ask the questions you've always wanted to ask your favorite star. Do you have your questions ready? Terrific! Then, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Luke Skywalker, Mr. Mark Hamill.
Hi, how are you? Thank you. Oh boy, a little shade, that's great. It's the magic of Disney, boy, they control the elements too.
That's right, with the big cloud over the sun and the whole bit.
It's great, I love
It's
it.
terrific to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a seat, get comfortable. I'm sure everyone wants to get to know all about you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, that fine young gentleman in the plaid vest and the jacket.
Christopher.
Yeah, that's right. Christopher will field those questions for you. Well, Mark.
I'm in home movies all across the country now. Hi, hi. And you don't know with these Zooms, they can be right up your nose and you'll never know. And I didn't shave this morning, you know, in this place. Time wasn't wasted. We hit the deck running and we were on Mr. Toad by 9:30. With 3 kids, they don't let you rest. Non-stop fun.
What are the ages of your kids?
I have a 10-year-old who was born when we were making Empire Strikes Back, for those of you who want to know how long ago it was. And he's got a British passport. And he loves the fact that he has a British passport. You know, I don't know why. He breezes right through customs and says, "I'll meet you in the bar." He's 10. That's Nathan. Nathan Elias, by the way. And it sounds too hearts and flowery, but I'm a huge animation fan. And I picked Elias because Walt Disney's middle name was that.
What?
Yeah. I never really told anybody here because it sounds like a put-up job. So that's Nathan Elias. He's 10. Griffin Tobias is 6. And Chelsea Elizabeth is a year and a half. Yeah, I've been married to the same woman for 11 years. Usually that's the next question you hear if you're from Hollywood. Same wife? No, 3 separate wives. No, she was a dental hygienist. I went in to have my teeth cleaned. And she wasn't an actress. It's another question people ask me. And, you know, she knows way more famous people than I do. We'll be watching a movie and she'll look at Robert Duvall and say, "Oh, he's really nice." I said, "How do you know Robert Duvall?" She said, "Well, I cleaned his teeth." You know, so she knows a lot of famous. That's the view she gets, though. The first time I ever took her to see Star Wars, you know, we just were dating at the time, and she said to me, "Is it anything like Star Trek?" And I, you know, not wanting to go into a long explanation, I went, yeah, it is. So if you remember in the first one, that incredible shot where that first ship comes over your head and it keeps going and going and going, it's pretty amazing and pretty stunning, and it was a fresh movie at the time. She's watching the movie, you see, and talk about a professional point of view, because we're watching that scene on the Death Star where they're having that sort of villains board meeting. You know, it's Peter Cushing and Darth Vader and Richard Law Parmentier, who played in Star Wars. He's also in Roger Rabbit, by the way, doing an American accent. You think he's a Yank, but he's a British guy. He has a line in Star Wars where he says, "Lord Vader, your sorcerer's ways have not revealed the location of the hidden Redwood base." And then Vader says, you know, whatever it is, you know, "I find your lack of trust distressing," or whatever, and chokes him to death. You know, just like all of our bosses. But Richard, you know, talks like this, "Your sorcerer's ways." My wife leans over to me and says, "Bad caps." I said, "Oh, come on. Leave the dental thing out in the lobby, will you please?" So she's good at that. She can spot everybody in Hollywood that's had. She has a list. Capped, not capped, braces, not braces. Listen, I've been talking for half an hour and no one's asked me a question. Hi, there he is, Christopher. See him right there in the right shirt and sunglasses.
How's Chewie?
Chewie's fine, thank you. How are you? But I'll tell you something, it gets so warm here in Orlando. I was worried about him. He was over there on the Endor moon set, and boy, you know, he is a big furry walking carpet, and I think we gotta get him a haircut or something. Maybe we can get him one of those butch haircuts, you know? Is that what they call them now? Teddy bears? He'd look kind of funny, but he'd be so much cooler.
Do
Hi.
you feel like you're typecast, or would you like a strange new type of character to play?
Well, I've been playing strange new type of characters in New York. I did Amadeus for a year playing Mozart. And oh, thanks, Mom. And I played in Room Service. I got to play the director, not the director, the producer. It was played by Groucho Marx and Sam Levine. Now the critics came thinking I was going to play the playwright. The golly, it's great to be New York City playwright. Instead, I was this kind of sleazy producer with the pants up here. I took that from my grandfather, and slick back hair. So in New York, I've had a lot more luck playing oddball characters. But that's the challenge, you know. You get determined to try and break out of that. But Luke's not so bad. In fact, in the 3 movies, I found that in the first one, he was really a child, and then in the middle one, more of a student, and by the 3rd one, he was sort of a full-fledged Jedi. So there was a growth there. I remember on the last one, though, I said to George, I said, hey, here's a good plot idea. How about if Luke turns to the dark side, and then Han and Leia can't decide whether they should kill him or not? That'll be the conflict. But he said, no, you know, that's not what it was always meant to be a fairy tale for children. And he didn't want the protagonist to scare the kids. Although I've done a pretty good job so far. Anybody else?
Out of the 3 Star Wars movies, which one's your favorite and why is it your favorite?
Boy, that's a toughie, because you know they say, you know, it's like, what's your favorite child? You know, I like them all for different reasons. The first one, it was a brand new experience and it was unique, and we were in North Africa and I got to meet Sir Alec Guinness, and I loved American Graffiti and working with George. But the second one had Yoda, and I loved that character, and I loved that sort of spiritual nature of the second one. And plus it was spooky, the second one, and kind of somber and dark. And plus, you know, we got our bottoms kicked in the second one, and we lost. That was the great surprise, because the one thing about the Star Wars movies, say, well, the good guy's got to win, of course. But, you know, wallop, you know, they gave me a manicure that was way too short in that one, remember? I'm not going to squint anymore. Let me get these on. You're all wearing sunglasses. Let me put some on. Who else? Hello. I have to have these, though. Otherwise, I lose them.
Bungee cords for the head. That's right. Yeah, right over there.
Which of the Star Wars character would you like to be and why?
When I read the script, my favorite character, just from a personal point of view, was C-3PO. Because he made me laugh. Here was this machine that we put together, and yet he was as cranky as a real butler, complaining about space travel and everything. That really appealed to me. I thought it was very funny. I guess I liked Han because he was cynical. Everybody would like to play the villain, and I just did a movie called Slipstream where I got to play a bounty hunter that's just a real SOB, and it's fun. But again, you know, it's hard to pick, you know. I guess I should just be satisfied with what I got. Can I ask you a question? Where are you from in England? Where? Yorkshire? You know, we shot Slipstream in Yorkshire. Do you remember a film company being up there in, oh gosh, it would have been middle of '88? All those beautiful sheep farms up there, that's where we were up on the moors up there. Ben Kingsley's in it, and F. Murray Abraham. Beautiful, beautiful countryside. We were by that waterfall that takes you hours to walk to. Maybe you know where that is. Yeah, okay.
Hi.
Hi. Here, I'll take my glasses off for your picture. Go ahead.
You used to be on General Hospital.
That's right.
Was that the first thing you ever did?
No. See, I was in college theater, and I was seen, and I got an agent, and I started going, you go out on hundreds of auditions before you get anything. I mean, for a while I thought there are no jobs, there are just auditions. So I started not getting nervous so much, because I didn't have to worry about it. I wouldn't have to show up or do it. They'd always say, thanks very much, and I'd leave. That was the routine. No, I did an episode of The Bill Cosby Show. Not the Cosby that you remember, but there was a series where he played a high school basketball coach. And I just had a couple of lines. And, no, I probably did maybe, 15 or 20 TV episodes, anything from Streets of San Francisco to Petrocelli to, you know, sometimes you look at the TV guide and go, oh, I remember, I was on one of these. You know, I totally forgot about Cannon. Do you remember Fat Cannon now? Now he's Jake and the Fat Man. And I totally forgot about it. I don't know how I could, because he's the narrator on Rocky and Bullwinkle. That's where I know him from. Bill Conrad, did you know that? Yeah, Cannon was Rocky and Bullwinkle's narrator. Yeah. Yes?
I got 2 questions.
Are you from New York or
Me?
Yeah. Where are you from?
Brooksville.
Brooksville, New York?
No, Brooksville, Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, how come you're not tan? I thought everybody was tan in this
They
state.
keep,
Okay.
they keep me inside. I got 2 questions for you.
All right.
Number 1, George Lucas made 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
What happened to 1, 2, and 3, and 6, 7, 8?
I think he still plans to do those, and I just found out this week through press conferences that George has had that he is going to do that first trilogy, and in the third one, Luke would be a little boy, so if we have any, I don't know, 6, 7 years, he might be right for the part in about a year and a half when they get ready, yeah, because we need a tyke about yay high. He thought that the middle section would be the most accessible storyline that people would really pick up on. If they like this, then we can go and do some of the more difficult stories. Because the first trilogy will talk about the Clone Wars and young Darth Vader and young Alec Guinness and all that. We're not meant to be in any of them. George asked me if I would be interested in doing one in the last trilogy, the 9th one, where I would play the Obi-Wan type character handing Excalibur down to the new young Hope. This fella right here, or I'm sorry, is it a little girl or a little boy? It is a boy, all right, yes. I would be handing Excalibur down to the new young Hope. And I said, when is this, George? I mean, he says, well, number 9 would be, let me say, subtract 2, carry the 1, about 2011. And I said, gee, I love the idea of having a job lined up at the turn of the century, wouldn't you? But especially, with my parents saying, you really should have something to fall back on. So I don't know about that, though. I'll wait and see what happens. I said, am I going to wear old age makeup? And he said, no, if you go out and party the way you've been doing, you won't need it. We might have to shave your head. But...
All right. Before I say anything, if I don't get to talk to you again, you did a real good job. And,
thank you.
I really love you.
Thanks very much. Thank you, really. But I would imagine, 10 years ago, young people that were really young then, so many were inspired by that in different ways. It is kind of amazing, the impact it had. We're always amazed at that. I mean, even some of the animators over here in the building, the young animators working on Roller Coaster Rabbit and stuff. They're all 22, 23, 24, and I was shocked to see, they've got little R2s and 3POs, and some of them have said, that it hit me so strong, and it appealed to my sense of wonder so strongly that it got me into art, or it got me into where I am today. So, thanks very much. That's George's thank you, not mine, certainly.
Last question.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, one more question. How come James Earl Jones didn't play Darth Vader and they let some guy play the movies?
Well, they were very strict with us. In England, if we had characters that had masks on, they wanted them to be British actors. Ted Cassidy, who played Lurch on the Addams Family, had been cast as Chewbacca, but they said, he can't come over because he's got a mask. The problem was trying to find a 7'8" actor in England. And we found Peter Mayhew, because they'd already started building the costume. I love that. It's so Hollywood. We don't start over. Let's just find an actor that fits into the costume. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yes.
Was Han Solo a nice man to work with?
Harrison Ford is yes, he is. He's a great guy and a great actor, and he's very funny and a lot of fun, and I miss him because I don't see him every day like I used to. But if he's in town, or I visit him on the set of one of the Indiana Jones films, and we're just buddies like that, and we'll probably be buddies until we're in hovercraft wheelchairs.
2011.
That's right, around 2011, if you're keeping score.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any plans in the future to do anything on Broadway or off Broadway, any more theater?
Right now I'm trying to make the decision. It is expensive. It's expensive to live there. To keep up your apartment in Manhattan is, way more a week than, I ever spent on a place when I was in college and stuff like that. So it's very expensive, not only for the performers, but for you people. It's expensive to go to the theater. So I've done 7 shows now. I sort of made a vow that I'd go back to California and try and at least stay in touch. People that are not able to get to New York write me letters all the time saying, where are you? And when are you going to be back? So I've done a couple of films, and I'm writing something with my partner now, but I know I can't. I love live audiences. It's the best, most unique experience for an actor anyway, so it won't be hard to coax me back. I just don't have any definite plans right now.
There he is, way over there.
Mark,
Yes.
is it true that before you started in Star Wars, did you get the role of one of the Bradfords in Eight is Enough?
That was done as one shot. In other words, at the end of that storyline, the character I played was to move out of the house and go away. And so when they decided to make it into a television series, another actor played that part. But you've got a wonderful memory. Or you've been talking to my mother. She's over here somewhere. Someone in the front row has been so patient with her Mickey's sweatshirt on. Yeah. Oh, go to the left. One more. This way, this way, this way. Whoa!
If you weren't an actor, what profession would you choose?
I maybe a teacher. You know, I love children. I really love children. And it's just lucky for me in this role, you know. They think they know you. I don't know. I mean, I was a wacky kid. I was interested in puppets and magic. Nothing that you could make a living on. But maybe an English teacher, you know. I think reading is so important. Kids come up to me and they say, oh, there's nothing like Star Wars. I say, yes, there is. There's Wizard of Oz. There's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's Robin Hood, all the sources that George used, all the Jules Verne and H.G. Wells, and there's so much out there. And if you have to start on Classics Illustrated comic books to want to read the novels, do that too. Kids are so visually oriented now. You know, you push a button and everything is done for you. So, you know, I'm really proud. I mean, it wasn't always this way, but Nathan just recently, in the last year and a half, has become a voracious reader. You know, he started reading the Narnia books, and then he wanted to read all the Narnia books, and now he's starting on the Frank Baum Oz books. Oh, you mean there's other stories besides yeah, he thinks it's only the MGM musical, and that's it. He doesn't know who TikTok is, or, you know, all those Patchwork Girl, you know, so that's what I try and do, is to get them interested in reading, and maybe I would have been a teacher. I think, you know, it's a crime that they're not paid more. You're not a teacher by any chance, are you? Somebody is. I got some applause for teachers. We all salute you.
Well, I want to say hi.
Hi.
How was it to fly the cockpit of the X-Wing fighter?
I made sure I went in and I looked at all the storyboards. You know what storyboards are? They look like a comic strip, you know, and it's Luke's point of view and then under the walker legs. And I mean, I was really, really into it. I was always at the model shop, you know, for explosions. They'd call me up way after I finished the film and just say, you want to come over and we're going to blow up the Death Star today? I'd say, sure, hey, I'm not doing anything. Let's work in blowing up the Death Star at lunch. The cockpit was up on a rostrum, and you get up on a ladder and you get into the cockpit. It looks just like it does in the movie, but it's all cut away on a big ball-bearing pivot. And so the stage crew, they have big poles coming out. They're rocking you slowly to give you that motion in front of the blue screen, and back and forth and all around. And the director's saying, okay, and now there's going to be some laser buffeting. Give them some buffeting, and everybody's doing this, and you're going, but it's all in your imagination. It's nothing like Star Tours. I had to imagine all of that stuff, you know, because they have to talk you to it, and, you know, it's all blue screen. You just have to pretend you're driving along, you're coming up on him now, he's getting closer, you're right on his tail, and now he's over your left shoulder, and then you just do that. And later, 18 months later, you have to go in and see what they put in. But I always tried to do my homework and make sure that I didn't do anything blindly. I always knew, you know, the size of the ship, and, you know, because we had to say things like, look at the size of that thing. Well, what is the size of that thing, George? Is it bigger than a Buick? How big is this Death Star? So in a way, in my mind, it was the way it was. But Star Tours does it for you. You know, it's more like being in the movie than it was for me, truly.
I think we've got time for 2 more questions.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
We're from Montreal there.
Oh, yes.
You been there before?
Yes, I have.
Well, okay. How's your French then?
Well, my French is not as good as it should be. Thanks for embarrassing me that way. No, that's a gorgeous country up there. But the trouble is, when we go up there, you know, we might go to Toronto, and then we see a Toronto TV station, radio station. The best thing I do on tour is you try and make contact with one of the local people from the studio. They drive you around. The architecture up there is so beautiful, British influenced. In fact, in Montreal, I found Carrie's Christmas present one year. It was a 45 of Eddie singing "Oh My Papa." And it was a real fine too. It was only $1.98. She said, "Shoot, I paid $30 for this in the store I found it in."
Okay, right up there.
Since you said you like children, can I
Yes.
have your autograph?
Well, okay. Come right up here now. You know they're gonna get so mad at me because you know I can't. They can't drag me away because I like doing it. But I think you know later. Did you hear about that parade in the cements? What's your name? Hi, Steve.